Have you ever found yourself lost in negative thoughts, letting daily worries take over your mind? The truth is, without realizing it, we often allow our emotions to dominate our reasoning. The lack of mental discipline stops us from living fully and achieving our goals. But what if I told you it's possible to change this? It all starts in the mind. From the moment you take control of your thoughts, your day transforms. When you discipline your mind, distractions lose their power, and you gain clarity to focus on what really matters. The good news is that you don't have to do this alone. I'm here to guide you through this process, and together we can turn this difficulty into strength. Now is the time to act. Listen to this every day and feel the difference. If you want to change, the first step is simple. Start now by listening to what I have to tell you in this video. Before we begin, if you're already subscribed to the channel, leave a like with confidence, knowing that transformative content is coming. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel because every week I bring videos that can truly take your life to the next level. Many people don't achieve their dreams and goals because they can't stop procrastinating, which is why I'm offering my ebook, Conquer Procrastination with Stoic Philosophy, the ultimate guide to success. To download it, it's simple. Just click the link in the first pinned comment. The first point we'll address in this video is the excuse. How many times have I found myself saying, "I don't have time"? Perhaps you've said this too. It's a phrase that, at first glance, seems harmless, but deep down, it hides something much bigger. When we say we don't have time, we're simply creating a barrier, an excuse that keeps us away from our dreams, our goals. But do you know what's curious? We all have exactly the same amount of hours in a day. What sets apart those who achieve great things from those who remain stuck in excuses is how those hours are used. Think for a moment. 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. This is the gift we receive every day. Time is the same for everyone. Great leaders, entrepreneurs, artists, they all have the same 24 hours as you. So, why do some seem to achieve so much, while others remain stuck in the same place? Here's the point. The excuse of not having time isn't reality. It's a mental trap. And only when you realize this, do you begin to change. The first change starts here, within you. You need to take control of your time. Every minute counts. Every decision you make about how to use your time shapes your future. One of the greatest philosophers in history, Seneca, said, "It's not that we have little time, but that we waste a great deal of it." This phrase still echoes today. It's not time that's lacking. It's focus. It's clarity on priorities. And the good news is that this can be adjusted, restructured. When you decide to manage your time better, something incredible happens. You start to realize that excuses simply disappear. That never-ending to-do list starts to seem possible because now you're in control. But for this to happen, a conscious effort is needed. You need to discipline your mind. And this is where time management becomes a powerful tool. If you want to grow, if you want to achieve your goals, you need to commit to using your time efficiently. Look at your day, divide your tasks, eliminate distractions, and start focusing on what truly matters. And yes, I know, it's easy to get lost in social media, TV shows, conversations that lead nowhere. But every second spent on something that doesn't bring you closer to your dreams is a second wasted. Remember, every choice you make is shaping your future. When you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your progress. And the more conscious you become of this, the easier it is to say no to what distracts you and yes to what really matters. And do you know what? I'm not here to tell you the path is easy. I know that often the world seems to be working against you. Commitments, family, work, everything demands your attention. But here's the secret. Time management isn't about doing everything at once. It's about knowing what to do at the right moment. It's about learning to prioritize. Every day, you have the chance to choose, to decide where your energy, your focus, goes. So, I ask you, what will you do with the next 24 hours? Will you keep feeding excuses? Or will you decide to take control of your life? If you feel like time is slipping through your fingers, that you're constantly racing against the clock, perhaps it's time to stop and reflect. Ask yourself, where am I putting my energy? Am I wasting time on things that don't move me forward? From now on, make a commitment to yourself. Eliminate excuses from your life. Every time the phrase "I don't have time" crosses your mind, remember that you do have time. What might be missing is a strategy, a plan, and most importantly, discipline. Now, I want to hear from you. What's stealing your time? What excuses are you ready to eliminate from your life? Write it in the comments. Share your experiences. Who knows, by sharing, you might help someone else realize they're also trapped in this lack of time mentality, and together, you can overcome it. The journey begins with the first step. And today, the first step is to eliminate excuses and learn to value time. You're capable of more than you imagine. It all starts in the mind. Discipline it, and watch how the world around you begins to change. You've already understood the importance of managing your time and eliminating excuses, but this is only the beginning. Now I want to talk to you about something that will take you even further: discipline. Because in the end, what truly sets apart those who achieve their goals from those who fall by the wayside is this powerful word. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. But discipline is what keeps you on track, regardless of the circumstances. Discipline is freedom. Have you heard this phrase before? It may seem contradictory at first, but it's a profound truth. When you are disciplined, you're in control of your life. You do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, even when motivation isn't there. You know that moment when the alarm goes off early, but all you want to do is stay in bed? Or that day when you know you have an important task, but distractions seem more appealing? These are the moments when discipline comes into play. It's what makes you get up, take action, and keep moving forward. Because deep down, success isn't the result of big leaps, but of small, consistent steps, day after day. And here's the secret: discipline is built, not something you're born with. It's like a muscle that you strengthen over time. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. And every time you choose discipline over procrastination, over distractions, you're shaping your future success. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This is what discipline does. It turns your actions into habits, and those habits, over time, lead you to success. Now, I want you to make a commitment with me and with yourself. Write in the comments the following phrase, which will serve as your daily reminder. Motivation fades, but discipline must continue. Repeat this phrase to yourself every day, especially in the moments when motivation fails, because it's discipline that will keep you on track. And I ask you, what is the one thing you can do today, right now, to demonstrate discipline? What is the small step you will take, even without wanting to get closer to your goal? Write it in the comments. I want to know. Now that you've eliminated the excuses and understand the power of discipline, you're ready to take the next step. And believe me, that next step will take you even further. Now that you've eliminated the excuses and embraced discipline, let's talk about something equally important in this journey: perseverance. I want to tell you a story. Imagine a young man with big dreams, someone who had a clear vision of where he wanted to go. At first, everything seemed possible. Motivation was high, enthusiasm was contagious, but then came the challenges, the sleepless nights, the physical and mental exhaustion. This young man began to realize that great achievements don't come easily. It wasn't enough just to want it. He had to fight for it. He had to sacrifice. It took weeks of effort, long hours dedicated to what truly mattered, while others around him were relaxing, enjoying their free time. He saw friends give up, talented people who simply abandoned their dreams because the road became too tough. But he chose a different path, the path of perseverance. If you haven't guessed it yet, that young man could be any of us. His story is real because it happens every day to those who have big ambitions. The truth is, to achieve anything significant in life, sacrifices are necessary. If you want to achieve something you've never had before, you'll have to do things you've never done before. How many times have you found yourself on the verge of giving up? That feeling of giving everything you've got, but the results seem distant, almost unreachable. This is the moment when many stop. They look at the mountain ahead of them and think it's too big to climb, but you won't be one of them. Here's the truth that few people tell. The greatest sacrifices bring the greatest rewards. There will be sleepless nights. There will be moments when exhaustion hits hard, and you'll ask yourself if it's all worth it. And I tell you, yes, it is. Every small sacrifice you make today is building the path to your dreams of tomorrow. Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors in history, once said, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time." And that's what defines success. The ability to keep going, to persevere, when everything around you tells you to stop. Now, I ask you, what sacrifice are you willing to make to achieve what you desire? It might be giving up a few hours of sleep. It might be giving up the comfort of an easy routine. But one thing is certain: those who persevere win. Imagine yourself in a year, 2 years, or even 5 years? How will you look back and feel? Proud of having overcome the tough moments? Or regretful for having given up when things got difficult? That's the difference perseverance makes. Those who give up too soon never know what could have been. I want you to think now about what sacrifice you're willing to make today to ensure tomorrow's success. What is the small sacrifice that will bring you closer to your dreams? Share it in the comments, I want to know, because what defines a successful person isn't the absence of difficulties, but the ability to persevere, to sacrifice whatever is necessary to reach their goals. The journey may be tough, but every step you take with perseverance brings you closer to your victory. And remember, the biggest dreams require the biggest sacrifices. Now that you understand the power of perseverance and sacrifices, let's talk about something that may be even more challenging: self-assessment. This is the moment when you need to be honest with yourself and ask, am I surrounded by the right people and activities? Because often what stops us from moving forward isn't a lack of ability, but the distractions we choose to keep around us. Motivation ends, but discipline must continue. Do you remember this saying? It comes back here with even more strength, because part of discipline involves knowing where to place our focus. And this is only possible when we make a sincere self-assessment. Think with me. How much of your time is truly dedicated to what matters? And how much is wasted on things that, in the end, don't get you anywhere? It could be that series you binge watch, the social media that consumes hours of your day, or even certain people who don't contribute but only drain your energy. If you really want to achieve your dreams, you need to start being selective. And that's not easy. It's hard to disconnect from something or someone that's part of our daily routine. But here's the truth. Not everything and not everyone deserves your time, and understanding this is liberating. Make a mental list of the activities you do in your day-to-day life and the people around you. Now ask yourself, are these activities bringing me closer to my goals? Are these people supporting me or distracting me? If the answer is negative, it's time for a change. It doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out or stop doing everything you enjoy, but it does mean you need to make conscious choices. When you learn to focus on what truly matters, everything changes. Suddenly, distractions begin to lose their power over you. You feel more in control of your life, more capable of taking the steps that move you forward. And that focus is what will set you apart. It's what will give you the strength to keep going, even on tough days. Steve Jobs once said, "Focus is about saying no." And that is one of the greatest truths you'll hear. Saying no to what doesn't serve you, to what distracts you, to what pulls you away from your purpose. That is focus. And focus is what transforms discipline and perseverance into real achievements. So now I want you to do something important. Right here in the comments. Motivation ends, but discipline must continue. And then, answer yourself. What activity or person do I need to disconnect from to reach my goals? By sharing, you'll start to visualize more clearly what needs to be done, and that will give you the push to act. Remember, self-assessment is a continuous process. You'll need to do it from time to time, because distractions will always arise, people will change, and your focus needs to stay sharp. But if you're honest with yourself, you'll always be in control. You already know how important it is to do a self-assessment and stay focused on what truly matters. But to achieve real success, there's a fundamental piece that needs to be worked on every day: mental development. And this isn't something that happens overnight. It's a continuous process. Do you remember that saying? Discipline is the key to my freedom. Well, mental development is the fuel that keeps that key turning. Your mind is the center of everything. It determines what you do, how you do it, and even how much energy you put into your actions. If your mind is full of distractions or negative thoughts, you won't have the strength needed to reach your goals. Think with me. How many times have you felt unmotivated, mentally tired, without the energy to keep going? A lot of that comes from the distractions and negativity that accumulate in our daily lives. It's the little things that gradually drain our strength: comparing yourself to others, worrying too much about what you can't control, procrastination disguised as taking a break to rest. These distractions don't just consume our time, but more importantly, they drain our mental energy. And without that energy, the path to success becomes harder and often longer. That's why mental development is so crucial. It gives us the ability to filter what deserves our attention and eliminate what's only holding us back. And this goes beyond simply thinking positively. Mental development involves training your mind to be resilient, to handle pressure, and to face challenges with clarity. When you develop your mind, you start to realize that problems aren't as big as they seemed, and that distractions lose their power over you. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius said something that illustrates this well. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If you fill your mind with things that pull you away from your dreams, happiness and success will always seem distant. But when you nurture your mind with productive and focused thoughts, you start to see results in everything you do. Mental development also means protecting your energy. This means avoiding getting involved in negativity, whether from other people or even your own thoughts. It's not about ignoring problems, but choosing how to react to them. When you train your mind, you start to gain control over your emotions, your decisions, and most importantly, the path you're on. So I want you to stop for a moment and think, what is occupying your mind today? Are they thoughts that help you grow, or are they holding you back? Are distractions taking over your time and energy? If the answer is yes, it's time to make a change. Discipline is the key to my freedom. Write this phrase in the comments and then answer, what will you do from today onwards to develop your mind and eliminate the distractions that are keeping you from your goals? Remember, mental development is like a muscle. The more you work on it, the stronger it becomes. And with a strong and focused mind, there's nothing that can stop you from achieving the success you're striving for. Now that we've talked about mental development, let's touch on something that is often forgotten but is absolutely essential: consistency. If you really want to be good at something, if you want to achieve your goals and live the life you've always dreamed of, there's one thing you need to understand. It's daily, consistent practice that makes the difference. I know it might be tempting to believe that success is a matter of luck or a moment of inspiration, but the truth is different. Success is built little by little, day by day, through continuous effort. Great achievements don't happen by chance, but through daily work. Think of any person you admire, whether in personal life, professional life, or even in sports. They all have one thing in common: consistency. They show up every day to do the work, even when they don't feel like it, even when things get tough, because they understand that it's this repetition that brings growth. Here's the key I want you to remember. Discipline is the key to my freedom, and part of that discipline is committing to practice what needs to be done every day. No matter how small the step seems, the important thing is to keep moving forward. Consistency is what separates dreamers from achievers. Think of a crop. The farmer doesn't harvest the day after planting. He needs to tend to the soil, water the plants, and wait for the necessary time for them to grow. The same goes for your dreams. You need to sow every day with patience and dedication. Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." That's the essence of consistency. It's not about making big sporadic efforts, but about doing what needs to be done daily until it becomes second nature. I know it can be tough. Life is full of distractions, commitments, and obstacles. But here's the secret. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Consistency creates a habit, and habits shape who you are. Over time, what seemed difficult at first becomes natural, and success stops being a distant goal and starts to become real. So, I ask you, what are you willing to do every day to get closer to your dreams? It could be a small step, like dedicating 10 minutes to your goal daily. But that small step, done consistently, will have a huge impact over time. Write in the comments. Motivation fades, but discipline remains. And then, share with me, what action will you start practicing today, consistently, to build your success? This daily practice will take you far, because success is not a matter of luck, but of continuous and focused work. Remember, consistency paves the way to success, and you, being here now, are ready to walk that path, one step at a time, every day. We're now past the midpoint of the video, and if you've made it this far, I ask you to give it a like, so I can bring content like this in the future. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share is something few people know, but it makes all the difference in achieving truly impactful results. Now that you've understood the importance of consistency, it's time to talk about something many people don't fully grasp: true freedom. And, as counterintuitive as it may seem, that freedom can only be achieved through discipline. We often think that freedom is doing whatever we want, whenever we want, without limitations. But is that really the case? If we're honest, that version of freedom actually traps us in a cycle of distractions and fleeting temptations. We follow impulses, fall into habits that pull us away from our real goals, and in the end, we realize we're further away from our dreams. True freedom is not doing whatever you want at any given moment. True freedom is being able to choose what really matters, and that choice is only possible when we have discipline. Discipline is what frees us from fleeting temptations, from easy shortcuts, and puts us on the path to realizing our deepest potential. Imagine this. You have a big dream, a long-term goal you want to achieve, but along the way, countless distractions arise. Social media, TV series, commitments that eat up your time. Without discipline, you easily lose your way, leaving behind what truly matters. It's like trying to navigate without a map, adrift. But when you adopt discipline, you gain clear focus. You can see temptations for what they really are, obstacles that only delay your journey. And by learning to resist those temptations, you begin to understand the real meaning of freedom. Freedom is the ability to stay true to your goals without being swayed by momentary distractions. It's like an athlete's training. They can't give in to the temptation of skipping training or succumbing to tiredness, because they know that every moment of discipline brings them closer to their goal. And in the end, when they reach their peak, they are free to compete, to conquer, to excel. That's the freedom that comes with discipline, the freedom to become who you really can be. A great thinker, Epictetus, once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that sums it up perfectly. Without discipline, we become slaves to our impulses and distractions. With it, we are able to control our actions, our choices, and consequently, our future. So, if you want to achieve true freedom, start here. Ask yourself, what is holding you back? What are the temptations that have diverted your focus? When have you strayed from your own goals? And most importantly, what can you do today to take back control? Remember, the freedom that truly matters is not the absence of limits, but the ability to stay on the path that leads you to your dreams without being derailed by life's distractions. Discipline is what gives you that power. It's the key that unlocks the doors to your true potential. Now that we've talked about how discipline frees us to focus on our true goals, I want to tell you a story about decisions. There was a man named Mark. He was like many of us, full of dreams and goals, but also surrounded by distractions and doubts. When he was young, Mark dreamed of starting his own business. He knew it would be difficult, but he was determined to do whatever it took to achieve his goal. In the first few months, everything seemed to be going well. Mark was motivated, full of energy, and willing to work hard. But as time went on, the small daily decisions began to weigh on him. They were small choices that at first glance seemed insignificant. Instead of working on that new idea for his business, he decided to watch TV for a few hours. Instead of investing in his education, he spent money on superficial things. Instead of going to bed early to be rested the next day, he stayed up late, scrolling through social media. These choices didn't seem like a big deal at the time. After all, it was just one less night of rest, or just a bit of money spent on something he wanted. But over time, these decisions accumulated, and, like drops of water that slowly carve out a stone, Mark's choices began to carve out the path of his life. After a few years, Mark found himself in an unexpected situation. The business he had dreamed of starting never materialized. The money he had saved to invest was spent on things he barely remembered. The time he should have used to prepare and study was wasted on distractions. Looking back, he realized it wasn't just one big decision that had taken him away from his goal, but a series of small, wrong decisions. This is something that happens to all of us. Big changes in life are the result of a series of accumulated small decisions. And this is where the importance of discipline comes in. When you have discipline, you can make decisions that are consistent and aligned with your goals, even when those decisions seem insignificant at the time. Mark learned this lesson the hard way, but you don't have to follow the same path. You can start today by paying attention to the small decisions you make every day. Every choice you make is shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. And it's discipline that will help you make the right decisions, the ones that will bring you closer to your dream, rather than further away from it. The philosopher Aristotle said, "Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We are what we repeatedly do." In other words, our daily decisions shape who we are and who we become. It's not about making one big choice once, but about making small, right choices consistently. Now I ask you, what small decisions are you making every day? Are they aligned with your dreams? Or are they pulling you away from them, even if you don't realize it? From today, start looking at those choices more carefully. Every decision you make is an opportunity to take a step toward success or a step away from it. Remember, motivation fades, but discipline must continue. Now that we've talked about making the right decisions, let's tackle a fundamental element of personal growth: personal responsibility. Imagine this. You are driving the car of your life. The roads may be complicated, the paths are not always easy, but ultimately, you are in control. When something goes wrong, it's common to blame the traffic, the road conditions, or even the passengers beside you. But if we don't take responsibility for our own actions, we end up repeating the same mistakes and distancing ourselves from our goals. Taking personal responsibility means understanding that we are the result of our choices. Every action, no matter how small it may seem, has a direct impact on the results we reap. And more importantly, if we want those results to change, we need to change ourselves first. It's easy to fall into the trap of pointing fingers at the world when things don't go as planned. Oh, if it weren't for my boss, if I had more time, if the people around me supported me more. But the truth is, these excuses only take us further away from the responsibility we must assume over our own lives. Real change happens when we look in the mirror and decide it's time to transform our behaviors. Because believe me, when you change your attitudes, the results change too. This requires courage. It requires the ability to accept that maybe not everything we've done so far has been the best for us. But that's the beauty of personal responsibility. It gives you the power to change. So, if you want a new result, start today by taking responsibility for your actions. Ask yourself, what can I do differently from now on? That simple act of reflection can be the turning point in achieving your goals. Remember, growth begins when we accept responsibility for who we are and what we do. Another important point is overcoming discomfort. Life isn't always easy, and in fact, it's precisely in the most difficult moments that true greatness is achieved. When everything is going well, it's easy to stay focused and motivated. But it's in moments of discomfort that we are truly tested. And it's in those moments that we grow. Think of anyone you admire. It could be an athlete, a successful entrepreneur, or even someone close to you. What do all these people have in common? They've overcome challenges, fought against adversity, and faced discomfort head-on. Greatness is never achieved in times of ease. The truth is that when we're in our comfort zone, we're rarely challenged to grow. It's discomfort that forces us to evolve, that pushes us to discover our true potential. The philosopher Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill me makes me stronger." And that's what discomfort does. It strengthens you, prepares you to be more resilient, more determined. Moments of difficulty are inevitable, but how we react to them is what really matters. When you're faced with an uncomfortable situation, you have two options: give up or grow. And if you're committed to your success, the choice will always be to grow. Every obstacle you overcome, every discomfort you face, brings you one step closer to your greatness. So, the next time you encounter a challenge or a difficult moment, remember, it's precisely in that moment that you are growing. Face discomfort head-on, because it's what prepares you for your greatest triumphs. Overcoming discomfort is what prepares you for greatness. But there's something you need to understand. Daily persistence is what truly strengthens you. It's not just the big moments of difficulty that shape who you are, but rather the small battles you face every day. Every time you win these small battles, like getting up early, completing your tasks, or staying focused on your goals, you are building a stronger and more disciplined version of yourself. And that's what makes the difference in the long run. Discipline is the key to my freedom. That freedom begins when you decide, every day, not to give up in the face of small difficulties. Because at the end of the day, success is built on consistency. And that means winning the small daily battles that may seem insignificant but add up to a big impact. Every morning that you get up, even when you don't feel like it, and give your best, you are creating the habit of being disciplined. Every task you complete, even when tiredness sets in, you are shaping your successful future. These daily victories are what build real strength. Now that we've talked about winning the daily battles, let's take it a step further. Investing in the future. Your actions today are the foundation for what you will reap tomorrow. Focusing on the long term, sacrificing immediate gratification, is the most secure path to a full and successful life. How many times have we given in to the desire for a quick reward, whether it's buying something unnecessary, choosing the easier route, or seeking shortcuts to avoid hard work? These small decisions may seem harmless, but in the long run, they distance us from our bigger goals. Investing in the future means having the courage to give up immediate pleasure in favor of something greater, something that truly matters. Real satisfaction doesn't come from fleeting moments, but from building a life with purpose. And that's only possible when you stay focused on the long term. Think of someone you admire for having achieved great success. I bet that person had to make sacrifices along the way. They understood that success requires patience, discipline, and the ability to say no to present distractions. Now I ask you, what can you start sacrificing today to guarantee a successful future? Think about it and take action. The decisions you make now shape who you will become tomorrow. Investing in the future requires more than sacrifices. It demands something essential: self-control and focus. Without these two pillars, building any goal becomes much harder. Maintaining discipline not only helps you make better decisions, but it also allows you to control your own destiny. When you have self-control, the distractions around you lose their power. You become the protagonist of your life, making decisions proactively, rather than merely reacting to what the world throws at you. How many times have you found yourself distracted by something that seemed urgent, but wasn't important? Perhaps a notification on your phone, a conversation that takes you off track, or even thoughts that divert your attention. When you practice self-control, you start to see these distractions for what they really are: obstacles to your success. Focus is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. When you can direct your attention clearly and precisely, you start to see results. The future you desire is in the decisions you make today. Keeping focus gives you the ability to move consistently towards that future, without being knocked off course by the little deviations that come along the way. What can you do to regain control and make proactive decisions that bring you closer to your dreams? Self-control is the power to create the future you want to live. Remember our pact: motivation fades, but discipline remains. Write it in the comments, because when you do, it sends a message to your brain that reinforces your commitment to your goals. Every time you remember this pact, you strengthen your determination. Motivation may fluctuate, but discipline is what keeps you on track, even when circumstances are tough. This is more than just a phrase. It's a direct message to your mind, reaffirming the power you have over your own life. We've reached the end of this journey, and now I want you to stop for a moment and reflect on everything we've talked about. Discipline, persistence, focus on the future, self-control. Each of these elements is part of something bigger: the building of your best self. The great truth is that no one can do it for you. The path is yours, the decisions are yours, and the power to transform your life is also in your hands. Every small step counts, every choice, every moment of sacrifice. This is how you will shape the future you want to live. Today, I want to leave you with a reflection. Who do you want to be 5 years from now? What are you doing today to ensure that when that time passes, you can look back with pride? Remember that the decisions you make now, no matter how small they may seem, are creating your tomorrow. And more importantly, don't wait for the perfect moment to arrive. There is no ideal day to start being disciplined, to start investing in your future. The time is now. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today to bring yourself closer to your dreams. I know the journey won't always be easy, but I can guarantee you it will be worth it. When you look back and see how far you've come, you'll realize that every effort, every sacrifice has brought you to this point. True freedom, true success, lies in discipline and persistence. Now, I want to invite you to take the next step. If you're truly committed to changing your life, share in the comments what your next move will be. What small decision will you make today to build your future? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so you don't miss out on more content like this. Let's go on this journey of growth and evolution together. You are capable of far more than you imagine. The key is to start, stay focused, and never give up. I'll see you in the next video. Win.